The New York Giants are heading into the 2025 NFL Draft with one major hole to fill. Who will be their quarterback this season? My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down the first three-round mock draft for the New York Giants in the 2025 NFL offseason. But before we get into that, if you like the content that we put out and you want to help the channel grow, the easiest way is hitting that subscribe button, tackling that bell, and while you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Let us know what you want to see the Giants do this draft come April. And Ryan, with that being said, let's pull this up here. So we do have them addressing their quarterback here. They get lucky that the Cleveland Browns end up taking Travis Hunter. So they go with another Colorado player, Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. And really, I think the Giants, I was actually just thinking about this before we went live, and I wanted to ask you this here as well. Uh, what do the Giants do if a quarterback is not there at number 3 overall? Because there's not any other quarterback that's worth taking number 3. It'd be absolutely stupid and potentially fireable, I would say, if they took Jalen Miller or Jackson Dart or Quinn Ewers here, I think at number 3. I think obviously you go with Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, obviously, but in the quarterback position as a whole, like this is like the Giants' biggest need as of right now.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think you want to be rolling it back with Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock. And so there's other quarterbacks in free agencies that we can talk about, and more information like will come out about that. But they are in a very precarious position, hoping that one of these two teams passes on a quarterback here.
Yeah, I still do think Travis Hunter would probably be the best route for them. Like they need cornerback help on.
If the two quarterbacks are
Yeah,
taken,
yeah, yeah. If
yeah,
the two quarterbacks, I, I will make a, I guess, semi bold statement here. I actually think like the Giants need to win in 2025. If they don't win in 2025, Joe Shane and Brian Dable are out as head coach and GM. And so if you're going by that metric, I still think Travis Hunter is a viable option here if they can get an Aaron Rodgers, a Sam Darnold in free agency. Excuse me, where they could get a veteran quarterback, they could take a guy in the third or fourth round, like a Jackson Dart, like a Quinn Ewers, and come in and develop. But that's not what happened in this scenario. Should they do draft Shedeur Sanders, they get a quarterback of the future. Sometimes too, I guess with young quarterbacks, like if they can show development at the end of a season, then ownership would be more willing to let that coaching staff and front office stay, just because they have found some success with a young quarterback and they would like to see that be played out. That was not the vibe I got from the Giants ownership this at the end of the
yeah,
2024 season. So I think it'll be really interesting to see kind of where the Giants are at the end of 2025, because if you follow this channel, I'm not the biggest fan of Shedeur Sanders. I definitely think he's a first round quarterback, but I've done the exercise of like Kenny Pickett went 20th overall, Bryce Young went number 1 overall. Where is Shedeur Sanders on that scale? And like that's probably a good representation of where Shedeur Sanders probably should be drafted, because I think he's probably somewhere in the middle. But since he's a quarterback, he will probably be inflated up to the teams that are quarterback needy here in the top 5.
yeah, yeah. So it's once again too as well as it's. I can understand why teams would go with Cam Ward first, just because of I think he's got the tools, so to say. But even for me, watching Shedeur Sanders in college, I see a quarterback that's super accurate. I think he's got good poise in the pocket and can go through his progressions, and I think that would translate well to the NFL also. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in the combine, see how he does in team interviews. I think he would do well in the New York spotlight with his name and the media, and that's a totally different animal for a lot of
Yeah.
people. And so, but let's move on now though to their next pick as well. I think another thing too the Giants need. So they have Malik Neighbors, yes, but outside of that, not really too many other great skill position players. And I think there's a big need at the tight end spot, and getting Colston Loveland here to kick off the second round for your team is going to be a great addition. A lot of other different routes they could have gone. They could have gone with offensive tackle. I think Ariante Erstry would have been an extremely intriguing route to go, especially too after you get your rookie quarterback. Evan Neal is a major liability at the right tackle position. Andrew Thomas is a really good left tackle when healthy. His issue
Yeah.
just been he's just been hurt so much. He had a weird broken foot that occurred early on in the season after like a good start to the season overall. But then you can really start to see the Giants start to kind of go downhill from there. But So I think that's a potential route you can go, but at the same time, though, too, you do just need more people that your quarterback can throw the ball to, no matter who the
Yeah.
quarterback is. I think getting a guy like Colston Loveland, he can help out with the blocking in general, so it's kind of two birds, one stone, but also going to be able to help out a lot with the pass catching capabilities and maybe even make more opportunities for Malik Neighbors get open with Colston Loveland dominating the middle of the field.
Yeah, no, and I think he fits right in. He has a clear role. Darren Waller had left a hole in that Giants tight end room when he retired from football. So I think that'll be something that they definitely look to target, especially in a deep tight end class. There are a lot of guys. Colston Loveland falling here to 34 is really good value. I think more than likely he might go somewhere like in the late teens. But to get him here at 34, I think would be really, really good value there for the Giants. So let's move on now to their third pick here. And this is where we address the offensive line. You get Charles Grant. He is the offensive tackle from William and Mary, but more than likely will kick in inside to guard or maybe even center. He is athletic enough to potentially play that role, but we'll have to learn like how to snap the ball and everything. But I really like him. Very athletic, very physical offensive lineman. I laugh like I was listening to a podcast and basically they were talking about usually like when you see these small school offensive linemen kind of come up and play because I believe he was at the Shrine Bowl, the Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl.
Mhm.
But when you watch these guys come up and play like higher level competition, you can kind of tell there's like a size difference and like just like a physicality difference that the smaller school guy just isn't quite used to. And Charles Grant was not the case. That was not the case with him. He brought the physicality. He is big enough to play at this level, and so I think getting him here, this is a deep offensive line class as well. I think you look Tate Ratledge went right before him. There are a lot of guys like Tyler Booker, Wyatt Milam, Donovan Jackson. Like there are a ton of guys that are going to be in that like interior space. I think going in this like second, third round that are going to be really good value for teams going forward.
Exactly, yeah, and for a team like the Giants as well, you just need offensive line help. And once
Mhm,
again, I've already mentioned Evan Neal. Maybe Evan Neal kicks inside, and so maybe you want to focus more on the tackle spot. Maybe you just get rid of Evan Neal altogether.
mhm.
Uh, who knows? But you do have John Michael Schmitz, who had a solid rookie year. And so
Yeah, that's fair.
expect him to keep on improving. But so getting more guards around him. You got John Runyon, you got Greg Van Roten as well. But Van Roten, he is going to be 35 and he's going to be a free agent also. So once again, that's just where like you're thinking about the offensive line as a whole. How can we go around and just make it better in general? So Jack Besh, I think, would be a good option for a receiver if you want to go that route. Let's say if you go Ariante Ursary with your second pick. Quinn Ewers, if you end up not getting quarterback overall at the third overall pick, I think it would behoove the Giants to still at least address the quarterback position here. I think a guy like Quinn Ewers would be very consistent for the team, and he's thrown to a lot of already NFL caliber receivers, and I think you can make an argument that the offensive line is going to be worse in New York than what he experienced at Texas. But I still think that it could be a guy that you can go and develop and potentially could be a guy Brian Dable could lean on. So a lot of different options that the Giants could go here. It's really going to all depend on what happens with their third overall pick. If they end up missing out on Ward and Sanders, then they go Travis Hunter, or even maybe no, they won't go Abdul Carter because they don't need edge rushers.
No.
They would go Travis Hunter. Maybe sneaky like Will Campbell or like Ted McMillan spot, maybe, but that's very probably low percentage. Uh,
Yeah.
but then that's really going to dictate their draft from there. Yeah, that's what like whatever happens at 3 is gonna dictate the rest of their picks because if they don't get quarterback, they're gonna be trying to find that best spot to get like the
Yeah.
best value for a quarterback there, and they don't wanna reach, but at the same time, they're gonna wanna go and get their guy, but there's
Yeah.
not really a clear guy, I think, outside of those 2 for probably the next 50 picks outside of the top 2 quarterbacks, I would think.
Yeah. You're looking at the top of the third, I think, is for like that next guy to come off the board. And
Yeah.
even then, like there's still I have a lot of questions about maybe more Shedeur than Cam Ward. I still have questions about Cam Ward and him playing in structure and like actually running an offense. But there are a lot of questions about those two guys, and I would still potentially be a proponent of even just passing on this quarterback class as a whole try to save your job at right now and then get a developmental guy later, or maybe make a move and trade up and get
Yeah.
a guy at the top of next year's class. So there's a lot of different routes, I think, for the Giants. I'm curious to hear what Giants fans want to see the Giants do. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you want to see the Giants do in the 2025 NFL draft. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.